What's up, Headless Horde? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking the Rings of Power, episode 6, and this one is titled, Where Is He? Before we get into the recap and breakdown, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe if you're new, and let's get into this thing. Now this one begins with Arondir searching for Adar and his group of orcs in Mordor. He finds a few of these orcs walking through the woods complaining about how Adar is still looking for Sauron. He quickly attacks and kills them and finds a drawing of Eregion in one of their pockets. He then realizes that Adar might be planning something big. Now, this was a really interesting scene because we don't even see Arondir the rest of the episode. So I'm expecting big things from him over in episode 7. We then head over to the elven city of Eregion, and we see Celebrimbor is struggling to make progress on creating the 9 rings of power for men. He's frustrated, and he even begins talking to himself out of stress. This was really interesting too, because it's so not even like this character from season 1. You can tell that the power that Sauron has on him. So the major problem that he's having is that he needs more mithril, because on the floor you can kind of see that there's a bunch of tries that have been unsuccessful, and he says, bring me more mithril. Well, he hasn't got it because the dwarves have not brought it over to them yet, so he needs them to continue their work. It's funny too because he's so focused on the tasks, and I think part of this is also that Sauron just has that much effect on him that he actually forgets one of his workers' names, and that was actually Mordania, who we met kind of in the last episode or two. And this is really making everybody worried about his mental state. Anatar then kind of arrives and tells all the workers that they need to take a break so he can talk to Celebrimbor by himself. Again, Anatar being manipulative, he kind of reassures him that he's just so deeply focused on his work and he needs to start taking care of himself. Obviously, he knows what's going on. Celebrimbor then tells Anatar that the mithril shipment from the dwarves is late, and then Anatar offers to handle the situation. Later on, Anatar then heads outside and speaks to the people of Eregion, and he ends up telling them that he is now going to take over the city's management while Celebrimbor is so busy on his business and what he's trying to craft. One of the guards then tells Anatar that the gate, which is usually busy with travelers, has gone really quiet. And this definitely puts Anatar on high alert. They send some soldiers to investigate, but only one ends up returning, and he has the message card on his chest. Where is he? So obviously this is talking about where is Sauron, because Adar knows he's there. Next, we head on over to check on our alliance here between Galadriel and Adar. Remember last episode that she was a prisoner, and then we find out that Adar actually wanted to make an alliance with her to bring down Sauron. Adar tells Galadriel that Sauron has a way of getting into people's minds, which we've seen obviously now with Celebrimbor. And he does this by using the person's deepest desires, which is something he believes is happening to Celebrimbor. So again, we've kind of all seen that play out over the last 3 to 4 episodes. Galadriel admits that she was once promised an army by Sauron. And if you remember, this was back in season 1 when he was acting like he was Halbrand. And Adar tells her that he was also promised something in return, and it was his children, being the orcs. And Sauron did end up giving that to him. Adar then shows her a crown that was once belonged to Morgoth, the original Dark Lord, and says that the only way to defeat Sauron is to combine the power of the 3 elven rings with the crown. Now, we saw that before the series had actually started, we kind of got that flashback where Adar actually flips over that crown and he thinks he kills Sauron. But we end up knowing now that that did not kill him at all. So his new idea is that he thinks that he can use the crown along with those rings, and that may be able to end him forever. Adar also tells Galadriel that he knows that Halbrand is secretly Sauron, but Galadriel does not exactly admit to this. Over in Númenor, we have Elendil on trial for treason after causing the riot that we saw back in episode 5. Pharazôn, who is trying to take complete control of Númenor, he offers Elendil freedom if he does agree to be loyal to him. But of course, Elendil refuses because he believes in following Queen Miro. Elendil's daughter Eregion is worried about losing her father, but then we see Queen Miro kind of come out of nowhere almost, and she goes ahead and takes his place in the trial. And there's like some kind of bylaw that she goes through and all that kind of stuff to do this. One thing with this scene that I thought was very similar to Game of Thrones Season 1, Episode 9, was just some of the shots they took of Elendil. And very, very similar to how we saw Ned Stark kind of in front of everybody, trying to say that he was going to be loyal to Joffrey and all that kind of stuff, and they end up killing him anyways. So they end up not killing him here because Miro comes in and she then takes his place for the trial. So the trial involves facing some type of sea worm, and everyone obviously expects her to die, but the sea worm actually lets her go. And this is actually a really cool scene too. And I actually watched the after show of how they filmed it. It's really cool how they do this. Obviously a lot of CGI included because I don't think they found a real sea worm, but it was pretty cool. And again, by the sea worm letting her go, it just kind of proves to everybody that she's innocent. Pharazôn then is forced to let Elendil go, and the people celebrate Miro's bravery because it was a pretty good scene. Meanwhile, we catch back up with the stranger, and he is now training with Tom Bombadil. He has the vision that his friends Nori and Poppy are in danger, and he must decide whether to continue his training or leave to save them. Tom then tells the stranger that if he leaves, he may not be able to return to his training, but the stranger is torn between protecting his friends and learning how to fight against the darkness. Does that sound familiar? In the Store Village, we see Nori. She now realizes that her presence is putting all of these other people in danger and offers to turn herself in to protect them. Poppy, however, disagrees with this plan and suggests that they fight back against the enemy who is searching for the stranger. They decide to stand their ground and try to protect the village together. We head over to Khazad-dûm, and the dwarves are still digging up more treasure for King Durin. We see Annatar arrive and ask for more Mithril to help the elves, but now King Durin is refusing. However, Prince Durin finds out that his father is planning to ask more in return later down the road. So Annatar leaves not very happy, but it's all because King Durin is so greedy right now that the original deal they had in place is not good enough for him. Durin also pleads with his father to take that ring off because he tells him over and over again that he thinks it's changing him. And he actually at one point tries to grab his arm and do it, and his father pretty much knocks him away. Now, the way that Durin falls to the ground, it does seem like there was some type of power in play there, because he doesn't just fall like down the steps. He actually like gets sent off. So it's interesting to see what type of power that he may or may not have. Again, to me, it looked like there was some type of power in play. And then Durin's wife, Disa, she also is a firm believer that ring is controlling the king. So she convinces Prince Durin that they must stop the mining activities before it's too late. In the final scene of the episode, we head back over to Eregion, and we see that Adar's forces are coming up on them. Now, before this scene actually started, Galadriel was pleading with Adar to not send the troops because she said that she believes that it's Sauron's plan to have all of the orcs get over there because he's going to have some master plan about somehow controlling them or taking them out or whatever it might be. Adar clearly does not respond to that. He says no, ends up locking her up again into this chair. She's cuffed to it or whatever. And basically, this is kind of the start of this huge war that we're probably going to see next episode. One final thing I will say about this final scene is that we also see that he tricks Celebrimbor to stay focused even while the city is being destroyed. So, you could clearly see that Sauron, this is going to be a win season, I believe, for him. I'm going to have a new video come out next week about episode 7. And then I'm also going to be dropping a video on my predictions for episode 8 before we actually get to see it play out on screen. This episode for me, guys, I thought it was just as good as the last one. And I thought the last one was the best episode. I don't know if this is better, but I am going to rank this one 4 out of 5 Gandalfs.
You shall not pass! You shall not pass! You shall not pass! You shall not pass!
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Drop a like on the video. Let me know down in the comments, are you enjoying the show so far? How did you like this episode? And what do you think we're going to see in episode 7? Don't forget to keep those heads on, and I'll see you guys in the next video.